Julie, would you like to go first?
Sure.
That's great.
Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, great to be here, everyone. As Francis mentioned, I am at Essentia Health. So my official title is a well-being specialist. I've been with Essentia Health about 2 years now, and I am really proud to be a part of an organization that does prioritize health and well-being of its employees. And Essentia Health is a healthcare provider. So we serve communities throughout northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, and a little bit in South Dakota. And so the mission is to make a healthy difference in people's lives, which I think summarizes a lot of what we do in well-being. And so I work not only with clinicians, but then also supporting all of the employees, the well-being among all employees. So our official well-being program at Essentia Health has been in place for over a decade, but the Office of Well-being where I work is about 3 years old.
Awesome. Thank you. How about you,
Mhm.
Caryn?
My name is Caryn. I've been working at Dermatology Consultants as their HR director for about 12 years. And Dermatology Consultants were a private dermatology practice in the East Metro. We were established in 1949, so we're celebrating 75 years this year. So we're excited about that. And started, with one dermatologist, and now we have 23 dermatologists and 160 employees. Um, and we created our well-being program in 2018. Um, and we named it and branded it as Thrive. And our mission is to support an environment where employees can thrive and grow. Um, and when we first started a wellness program, we used a local healthcare, like a wellness consultant. So we work with Health Source Solutions, they really work nationally, but um, they kind of helped us create the infrastructure, build the wellness program to what it is today, and that's kind of how we started with on the well-being journey at Dermatology Consultants.
Wonderful. Thanks, Caryn. I'll turn it back to Julie for sort of the main question. Julie, would you share with the group from your perspective, what are some of the common barriers or challenges that organizations face with employee engagement, with wellness programming? Then maybe what is one thing or a few things that have really driven increases in engagement? Maybe share a learning or two and how to maximize engagement generally.
Sure, absolutely. At Essential Health, I would say lack of awareness is one of the biggest barriers. They don't know that certain aspects of the program exist or that the program is available for them. So we have about 16,000 employees spread across hospitals and clinics throughout the region. And so we are working on virtual engagement and then also in-person engagement, which can be pretty challenging um, because not everyone has access to the same resources or even a break room. I mean, some people don't have those to put a poster up in the break room about an event that's coming up isn't accessible for everybody, or to have an online virtual poster isn't accessible to everybody. So we're constantly working through different communication strategies to address the lack of awareness. One of the ways we address lack of awareness is by trying to meet with the employee orientations to make sure that we have either if it's a video, if one of us can't attend, but there's regularly scheduled new employee orientation. So we try to get in the orientations, and then more recently, we've also started to work with different leaders because we've found that you get a lot of information, a new employee orientation, and it's just like a flood of information, and not everything is going to stick. And so, working with the leaders, making sure our leaders are educated so that because our leaders are seen as a trusted source of information. And so when they share information about our well-being program and how it's important, then it really is something that helps our managers and our staff and colleagues then utilize the programs. One of the most recent wins that we had is our COO sent out a company-wide memo that went out congratulating the Office of Wellbeing for being ahead of the curve for recognizing the CDC came out with the new workplace guidelines, and we were already following all 6 of the recommendations. So that was a really nice unprompted pat on the back that he gave the Office of Wellbeing, and we didn't send him the information. He sent that out on his own, and it went out to the entire East Market. So that was something that was a recent win that hopefully will improve that lack of awareness that exists. The 7 times 7, 7 ways, 7 times philosophy definitely rings true for our organization. The other top things are time constraints, lack of motivation, and accessibility. So to work on time constraints, we help with automating as much as we can participation in the well-being programs, making it as easy as possible to participate and to making short form content that's relatable. Lack of motivation, we try to address some of those reasons where maybe it's lack of relevance, like people just don't think that it applies to their lives, or that we don't need these types of programs. We address by making focusing on all the different dimensions of well-being, financial well-being, occupational well-being, not just focusing on one area. So hopefully they see some relevance in that. And then the accessibility issues, I already kind of touched on that of seven forms of communication, 7 different ways. And then I will speak to ERGs, but I do want to give some airtime to Caryn too. So I'll stop there.
Thanks, Julie. Lots to think about and unpack there.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Caryn? What are you seeing as some of your barriers and challenges, and then maybe what's driven some increases for you?
Sure. So I think our biggest barrier is that we work in a clinic environment, which means we are taking care of patients all day, or we're on the phone with patients. So it's hard for us to gather together for like even a lunch and learn or a meeting or a speaker, or so gathering is just not something we can do very often. So that can be difficult. I think it feels like it eliminates some of the well-being activities that you could be doing when you can't like get people together at the same time. It's definitely always a barrier for us. Another barrier is our physician owners. I think they support the program, but they're not super engaged themselves in participation. So if anyone has ideas on how to engage some like owners, leaders, I mean, I think they kind of think it's for the staff. Some of them participate, our CEO and other leadership really participate, but the owners not so much. So that's a barrier for us too, how to reach them. But then some drivers of things that have increased engagement, because we have increased our participation engagement over time from since 2018 when we started. I think one of the things that really drives engagement for us is competition. Our people are competitive, and we actually have a traveling trophy that goes around for different challenges, and it's become quite coveted. So there's bragging rights and there's a trophy. We've also had to get a little more creative with different incentives and prizes and things, because people are incentivized by different things. Some people are going to sign up every time because they love this stuff, and others kind of need a little push. One big creative incentive we have started to use is awarding paid time off. So we've done gift cards, we've done a lot of different things, but the PTO seems to be very popular, and just helps with work-life balance and gives people time away. Another driver, I think, for us is we've finally been able to expand our wellness champions. Kind of at the beginning, because of time constraints, a lot of our wellness committee was leadership and people that are able to kind of meet and work on projects, which our everyday staff it's difficult because they're with patients. But we've lately been able to expand, have more champions at each location, and people on the ground who are recruiting others and talking about it and creating excitement kind of at every level.
That's great. Thanks so much. Before we end, Julie, did you want to talk a little bit more about ERGs and other things? And then there'll be more opportunity to chat in small groups.
Sure. So I didn't get into really what makes up the Office of Wellbeing and what we work on in our different initiatives. One way that we like to, that can affect motivation and why people sign up for the program is because of the variety of ways that they can participate, which I highlighted a little bit, but I didn't say what those ways were. So first, health screenings and assessments. So we provide opportunities for employees to undergo those health screenings and assessments to identify the potential health risks and then provide early intervention. So we utilize the Virgin Pulse platform that's through Medica. And so Medica is a primary relationship holder, and then, but we operate out of the Virgin Pulse platform. So that makes those things very, very easy to do. Then we have well-being challenges and activities, so step challenges, healthy habits, all that are customizable for the person. And then we have system-wide challenges as well. So that speaks to some people. Others don't want any business being part of a competition. So we have individual and team always available. We also provide different educational workshops and seminars. Some are asynchronous, so they can watch at any time on demand, and some are synchronous. Activities like Schwartz rounds, which helps build community. We have our EAP webinars about different topics related to health and well-being on there. And then we have our EAP program in general that we've seen an increased engagement in requests for not only counseling, but also the lifestyle options. So our EAP program provides support for what's called lifestyle options, which could be finding elder care, could be finding daycare, could be helping plan a vacation. And those are all things that take time. So lack of time is a barrier for participation in a lot of things. And so we address that by promoting this employee assistance program that can help with work-related, but then also life-related challenges. So we really work on that. Then we offer a variety of well-being resources and support, such as peer-to-peer support and our Care Champions program, which is probably similar to a lot of people's well-being, but we intentionally didn't call it well-being because the Care Champions are more than just from the Office of Wellbeing. We collaborated with our Mission and Integration Department, our Office of Learning and Development, and our Patient Experience Office to have a more integrated approach into serving the system. And then lastly are the ERGs, so employee resource groups, which are identity-based groups that help provide support. At least at Essentia right now, they're identity-based. We call them CRGs at Essentia because it's colleague. We're called colleagues, not employees. So our CRGs, right now we've recruited 4 different leads to lead each CRG, and then we're advertising and marketing those throughout so that people have safe spaces to talk about how their identity influences their work and their life at Essentia and get some support around that. And we utilize our Virgin Pulse platform as well to have groups related to the CRGs.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both so much for being our first volunteer presenters today and being willing to share your experiences with us. I love how this has really set us up for some great in-depth conversations in small groups. Let's go ahead and get those set up.